A man receives a delivery, and strange sounds come from the box. Startled, he asks the housekeeper, Meow, to open it. Inside, they find a baby with a note blaming the man for being irresponsible. The man named Jirapat suggests throwing the baby away, but seeing Meow's reluctance, he offers her 2 million and an apartment if she becomes the baby's mother. She reluctantly agrees. 2 years later, the child, Gina, can walk, and Meow receives a call about her sick teacher. She asks the man to care for Gina for 2 days, but he refuses. While they argue, Gina runs into the street and is saved by a nearby CEO, narrowly avoiding disaster. Grateful, Meow thanks the CEO, who happens to be her neighbor. She then explains she must visit her teacher, who raised her, and sets off with Gina. Upon arriving, her teacher asks why she didn't inform her of her marriage and insists on meeting her husband. Nervously, Meow agrees. Later, a friend invites her to a reunion at their old workplace, a bar. Leaving Gina with her friend's sister, Meow heads to the bar. The owner is thrilled to see her again, and they reminisce. Coincidentally, the CEO is nearby and sees Meow, thinking she is neglecting her child at the party. At that moment, Jirapat calls Meow, scolding her. She steps outside to answer, leaning against the CEO's car while drunk. The CEO, observing her situation, begins to realize there's more to her story. Meow recognizes the CEO as her neighbor, but, drunk and confused, she leans on his car. The CEO drives off but later returns to find her being harassed by a man. He intervenes, only to be mistaken for interfering in a lover's quarrel. As the situation escalates, Meow takes matters into her own hands and beats up the harasser. The CEO steps in to help Meow, but she vomits on him in her drunken state. He takes her to a room to rest. Later, when Meow receives a call from Jirapat, the CEO answers, stating she's asleep, and accuses Jirapat of being irresponsible. The next morning, Meow remembers she needs to bring her husband to meet her sick teacher, but has no husband. Conveniently, the CEO calls, saying he left his phone in her belongings. Meow seizes the opportunity and convinces him to pretend to be her husband. Reluctant at first, the CEO eventually agrees. They visit her teacher, who praises Meow's resilience despite losing her parents early. Afterward, the CEO offers to take Meow and Gina home. Meow and the CEO return home, where she introduces him to Jirapat. To her shock, it's revealed that the CEO is Jirapat's older brother. The CEO scolds Jirapat for being irresponsible. Despite having a fiancé, he got involved with Meow. Jirapat defends himself, claiming the fiancé pursued him first, which only angers the CEO further. Meow also chastises Jirapat, calling him selfish for causing so much chaos. Later, the CEO reflects on the day's events, finding it hard to sleep, while Meow struggles with whether to apologize for the mess. The next morning, they meet again, awkwardly exchanging apologies for their actions. The CEO feels obligated to take responsibility for the situation and tells Meow he'll ensure Gina is cared for, even offering to raise her as his daughter. Meanwhile, Jirapat's fiancée, still attached to the CEO, tries to rekindle their past romance. She confesses she doesn't want to marry Jirapat anymore and schemes to win the CEO back. However, the CEO firmly rejects her, reminding her of her engagement to Jirapat. Frustrated with his brother's immaturity, the CEO demands that Jirapat cut ties with Meow and focus on his fiancée. Jirapat refuses, insisting he won't abandon Meow or Gina unless she remarries. Determined to resolve the chaos, the CEO unexpectedly proposes to Meow, leaving her stunned. Both spend a sleepless night. The next morning, fate brings them together again. When the atmosphere grows awkward, the CEO reassures Meow not to take his previous proposal too seriously. Meow shares the incident with her friend, explaining the CEO's idea of marrying her for convenience until Gina grows up, after which they'd divorce. Initially dismissing the suggestion, Meow realized the CEO's plan could resolve their complicated relationships and provide Gina with a stable father figure. Meanwhile, Jirapat learns about the proposal and objects, citing his desire to care for Meow and Gina despite his obligations to his fiancée. Tensions rise when media outlets publish photos of the CEO with Jirapat's fiancée and of Jirapat with Meow. The family demands explanations, and the CEO claims Gina as his daughter, stating he intends to marry Miao. Jirapat protests, accusing his brother of stealing Gina's mother, but the CEO argues Jirapat never loved Miao, and that their arrangement is the only solution to protect the family's reputation. Miao accepts the CEO's proposal for Gina's future. The CEO reassures her with financial security, promising to give her 2 million. The CEO proposes again, but Miao sets conditions. She will only marry him if Gina accepts him and becomes close to him. Additionally, she insists that their marriage only applies during working hours. Jirapat accuses the CEO of liking Miao and offers to double the money the CEO proposed if Miao refuses the marriage. However, Miao rejects Jirapat, claiming that her decisions are not driven by money. Meanwhile, Jirapat tries to involve their mother, seeking her help to sabotage the marriage. The mother, skeptical at first, decides to investigate. Chaos ensues when Miao learns the CEO's aunt plans a surprise visit. Panicking, Miao prepares to impress the strict aunt. But the messy house and Gina's tricks create an awkward first impression. The aunt initially criticizes Miao for being a single mother and questions her intentions. But a sudden shift occurs when Miao cleverly fabricates a story about her struggles as an orphan and how the CEO irresponsibly abandoned her after a drunken encounter. The emotional performance wins the aunt over, prompting her to insist that the CEO and Miao marry immediately. The CEO, caught off guard, agrees, calling Miao a shameless liar for manipulating his aunt. Jirapat's plan backfires, as his mother is now supportive of the marriage, calling Miao a good woman and praising Gina. Frustrated, Jirapat vents to a friend, admitting his growing attachment to Miao and regret over the mess he caused. He later meets Miao to apologize for his actions, confessing his feelings and offering to take care of Gina. Miao, however, dismisses his apology and decides to marry the CEO, despite Jirapat's declaration of love. During the traditional wedding ceremony, the couple participates in meaningful rituals, including the symbolic pouring of water by family members. Miao, an orphan, is deeply moved when the CEO's aunt welcomes her into the family. Although the CEO reminds her that this is only a fake marriage, Miao is genuinely happy, revealing that she never imagined becoming a bride. The tension between Miao and the CEO continues when she moves into his house. The CEO establishes strict rules. The house must remain tidy, and no guests are allowed. However, their discussion is interrupted when Jirapat unexpectedly arrives, claiming he's there to check on Gina and help Miao. Jirapat, determined to make his fiancée, Kodnipa, leave him, deliberately exhibits obnoxious behavior on their dates, such as arguing with strangers, picking his nose. Despite his antics, his fiancée remains committed, leaving Jirapat frustrated. Meanwhile, Miao accidentally enters the CEO's private room while searching for scissors and discovers a photo of him with Kodnipa, his ex-girlfriend and Jirapat's fiancée. Suspicious, she teases the CEO over the phone, claiming she was thinking about him. The CEO, surprised but pleased, invites her to dinner. However, he returns home to find the house in complete disarray. Miao dismisses his complaints, insisting that a messy house is normal when living with a child. Miao hands him a book titled How to Interact with Kids, but the CEO is clueless and resorts to awkwardly smiling at Gina, who attempts to feed him. Miao serves their first family dinner, instant noodles with poached eggs, which leaves the CEO speechless. He questions if his expectations were too high, but before he can eat, Miao insists he feed Gina first. The situation turns chaotic as Gina sprays food on him, prompting Miao to laugh. Later, while working in his room, the CEO is interrupted by the noise of Miao and Gina laughing at the TV. Annoyed, he asks them to lower the volume, but Miao cheekily reminds him it's after work hours and he should spend time with Gina. Reluctantly, the CEO joins them and surprisingly ends up having fun, even taking a family photo. When Jirapat sees the photo, he calls Miao, worried their fake relationship might turn real. Miao, unimpressed, hangs up, leaving Jirapat to convince himself he doesn't care about her. Meanwhile, the CEO's aunt invites Meow over to teach her royal recipes, knowing Meow dreams of opening a restaurant. Meow, inexperienced in cooking, struggles under the aunt's guidance. Jirapat, seeing an opportunity, invites his fiancée Kodnipa to the house, hoping to bring her and the CEO close. He even sends a picture to the CEO, who rushes over. Kodnipa takes the chance to question Meow about her sudden marriage to the CEO, claiming their bond remains strong. However, Meow, unfazed, refuses to be intimidated. Frustrated, Kodnipa accidentally bumps into Meow, making her fall, then pretends to fall herself. The CEO rushes to help Kodnipa, who seizes the moment to ask if he still has feelings for her. He firmly replies that their relationship is in the past and warns her not to bring it up again. At dinner, Meow adds food to the CEO's plate, prompting Kodnipa to remark that the CEO doesn't like that dish. Meow quickly retorts that he likes it now and even confirms it with the CEO, who awkwardly agrees. Kodnipa can only smile through her frustration. Later, the CEO's aunt suggests letting Gina stay with her temporarily, as Meow visits daily to learn cooking. Jirapat objects, wanting Gina to remain with the couple, but Gina is ultimately sent to the aunt's house. Back at home, the CEO scolds Meow for not tidying up. Unwilling, she starts cleaning while muttering complaints. The CEO joins in to help, breaking the tension, but Meow suddenly confronts him, asking if he still has feelings for Kodnipa. Though he denies it, she brings up the photo of Kodnipa in his drawer, only to realize she's revealed she snooped in his room. The CEO reminds her of the rule against entering his room, and Meow defends herself, saying she was only looking for scissors. The argument escalates, with the CEO coldly reminding Meow that she's just his fake wife and shouldn't get emotionally involved. Later that night, the CEO reflects on his past with Kodnipa, recalling how she ended their relationship, calling him boring. He decides to throw away the photo of Kodnipa. The next day, Meow finds the discarded photo in the trash and secretly smiles, wondering if the CEO is starting to like her. Feeling guilty about their fight, Meow leaves a note for the CEO apologizing for the previous night and prepares a box for him. At work, the CEO seeks advice from his assistant on how to make up after a fight, awkwardly framing it as a friend's problem. The assistant suggests buying a gift to win her over, then casually mentions seeing someone following and taking photos of the CEO recently. It's revealed that Kodnipa had hired people to follow and take pictures of the CEO and Meow. Despite being on a date with Jirapat, Kodnipa's thoughts linger on the CEO. She questions Jirapat about how the CEO and Meow met, their sudden marriage, and having a child together. Jirapat fabricates a story, claiming the couple had known each other for a long time. When Kodnipa notices the child resembles Jirapat more than the CEO, Jirapat nervously explains it's because he and his brother look alike. Later, when Kodnipa overhears the child calling Jirapat Abba, she becomes suspicious, asking if it means father. Jirapat quickly covers up, claiming the child was saying Appa, the Korean term for an older brother. Despite his explanation, Kodnipa's doubts grow. Back home, Kodnipa confesses to her father that she still has feelings for the CEO. Her father reprimands her, reminding her that she is engaged to Jirapat and that their family does not accept divorce. Meanwhile, Mio continues learning to cook from the CEO's aunt, who tasks her with using a stone to scrape a coconut for a recipe. Jirapat arrives and is mesmerized by Meow's grace, comparing her to a goddess. Unable to contain his emotions, Jirapat helps her with the task, but when Meow drinks juice afterward, Jirapat becomes so overwhelmed by her beauty that he has to step out to compose himself. Back at home, Meow finds a thoughtful gift from the CEO. Overjoyed, she wonders if it's a sign he's starting to care for her. The CEO apologizes for being harsh with her, and Meow immediately forgives him. The CEO teases her for being so forgiving. Meow then shows him a resort voucher gifted by the aunt, and the CEO proposes they use it to stage a honeymoon for appearances, as he's still being followed. Meow misunderstands at first, dressing extravagantly, but the CEO clarifies it's just for show and they'll return the same day. Meow's excitement turns to disappointment. When Jirapat hears about the honeymoon, he panics and tries calling Meow, but she doesn't answer. Imagining the two spending romantic moments together, Jirapat becomes anxious. At the seaside, the CEO and Miao reflect on their lives. Miao reveals she grew up as an orphan. Miao, feeling low, compares her life to sand. However, the CEO encourages her, telling her that even sand has value, which motivates Miao to vow that she'll make herself useful in the future. Jirapat is still preoccupied with Miao and begins reflecting on their past. Jirapat's friend reveals that Miao had feelings for him back in school, a revelation that surprises Jirapat, who always thought she was just interested in money. He confronts Miao, asking if she liked him back then, and although she denies it, claiming it was all in the past, Jirapat doesn't let it go. He admits he likes her now, but Miao, assuming he's drunk, dismisses his confession. Jirapat continues to express his feelings, even telling the CEO that he likes Miu. The CEO quickly pulls Miu away. That night, neither the CEO nor Miu can sleep, as Jirapat's confession lingers in their minds. The next morning, Miao, trying to shake off the discomfort, goes about her routine, even making breakfast for the CEO. He teasingly questions her, and she jokingly reminds him that she's his paid wife. When he asks if she likes Jirapat, Miao declares that she only likes him, but soon reveals it was a joke. The CEO, in a mix of confusion, decides to visit Jirapat, but Miao quickly pulls him back, leading to an intimate kiss between them. Afterward, the CEO goes to Jirapat's house, where Jirapat, still hoping Miao will show up. Jirapat's aunt advises the CEO to focus on his family more, encouraging him to spend time with Miao and their child. The CEO takes Jirapat and Miao out for a meal. Kadnapa, having learned about Miao and the CEO's supposed honeymoon, plans to expose their secret. She invites the CEO to participate in a public interview, pretending it's for a show about famous business people and their spouses. The CEO agrees, wanting to keep up appearances. He and Miao then exchange lists of personal likes and dislikes to avoid any accidental slip-ups during the interview. They share a playful moment, joking about each other's preferences. Meanwhile, Miao is focused on caring for Gina, leaving the CEO to handle their child for a while. When she heads out to buy milk, she unexpectedly encounters Jirapat. Jirapat admits he's been following her, wanting to talk about the night when he confessed his feelings. He apologizes, claiming he was drunk, and asks if they can still be friends. Miao agrees, and Jirapat, relieved, embraces her. Meanwhile, the CEO grows concerned when Miao takes longer than expected. When Miao returns, she lies to the CEO, saying she was delayed by a long line at the supermarket. The CEO pretends he didn't see her talking to Jirapat. Miao's aunt calls, saying she is downstairs and wants to visit. The CEO panics, knowing that if Miao's aunt sees their arrangement, it could expose their deception. Miao quickly works to create a fake couple atmosphere to convince the aunt that everything is normal. However, with only 2 rooms in the house, they are caught in a lie. The aunt, noticing the situation, begins questioning their sleeping arrangements, and the CEO hastily reassures her that they're not separated. The scene ends with the couple in a tight spot. As the night unfolds, Miao finds the CEO working late and sleeping at his desk. She wakes him up and urges him to rest in their bedroom. During this moment, the CEO receives a call from his ex-girlfriend, who discusses the upcoming interview. Despite warnings from his father to stay focused on work and avoid personal distractions, later when Miao and the CEO lie in bed, the conversation turns to their past relationships. Miao asks if the CEO still has feelings for his ex-girlfriend, but he insists it's in the past. He then brings up Jirapat, pointing out how he had seen them embrace. The CEO questions whether Jirapat truly sees Miao as just a friend. The next morning, Jirapat barges in, upset after hearing from his mother that Miao and the CEO spent the night together. Jirapat's surprise leads to a confrontation. The CEO, sensing tension, decides to take Miao to the interview, but she resists, claiming she doesn't want to go. Despite her protests, the CEO insists, and they prepare to leave. At this point, Miao's aunt steps in to take care of Gina, but she soon leaves due to personal matters. Miao teases Jirapat, joking about how he finally gets to play the role of a father figure. At the interview, things take an unexpected turn when Meow encounters her first love, a person she hasn't seen in years. She completely forgets about the interview as she catches up with her old crush. The CEO watches this interaction with growing jealousy. Back home, Jirapat is left struggling with Gina, creating a mess, and the CEO questions if Jirapat knows Meow's first love. Jirapat warns him to be cautious, as he believes Meow's first love might steal her away. The following day, at the filming location for the interview, the couple continues to pretend to be in love while teasing each other. Meow's first love appears to clean her face, which make the CEO angry. Kodnipa, after being rejected by Jirapat and kicked out by her father, seeks refuge with the CEO, asking to stay at his place for the night. Seeing her in distress, the CEO agrees. Meow feels uncomfortable with Kodnipa staying in their home, but the CEO reassures her, stating it's just for one night and offers to respect Meow's feelings. Later, Kodnipa uses the opportunity to look for evidence of the CEO and Meow's fake marriage, trying to find something that would expose their situation. She also fakes distress, crying and acting helpless, claiming she cannot sleep and kiss him. Meow sees this and becomes upset, but the CEO steps in, warning Kodnipa to stop her behavior and leaving the room. The next morning, the CEO and Meow interact with Gina, but Meow expresses her discomfort about staying in the CEO's room. She reveals that, while she agreed to the arrangement for financial reasons, she has her limits. Kodnipa interrupts them and asks what they were discussing, then complains about being hungry. She asks Meow to make her a salad, claiming to be on a diet. Meow, holding her frustration in check, reluctantly agrees, but she can't hide her annoyance as Kodnipa continues to criticize everything, including the salad. Eventually, Meow can't take it anymore and snaps at Kodnipa, who continues to act like everything is perfectly fine. Meanwhile, Meow gets a call from her first love, inviting her to dinner. She agrees, leaving the CEO behind with Gina. The CEO, unsure of Meow's whereabouts and sensing she might be upset with him, spends time at home with Gina. He even tries to connect with Meow by sending her a video of Gina asking for her. Despite this, Meow refuses to respond. At the same time, Jirapat arrives to discuss his relationship with Kodnipa and her desire to reconcile with Meow and Gina. The CEO refuses. Meanwhile, Meow is at her first love's house. The CEO, feeling the pressure, tries to resolve things by cooking a large meal and waiting for Meow to return. When she doesn't, he continues to try reaching out, calling her to let her know he and Meow are waiting for her. Meow returns home with her first love, and the CEO, already upset, confronts her about visiting another man's house. He tries to keep his composure for Gina's sake, but both he and Meow pretend to be calm as they argue. Eventually, they both fake smiles. Meow, feeling frustrated, tells Gina that the CEO has been acting strange lately, but still makes breakfast for him the next morning. However, the CEO is missing. Meanwhile, the CEO has not shown up for work, and his assistant calls Meow, expressing worry since the CEO is never late. She searches the house, and after some time, finds the CEO unconscious in the bathroom, having suffered from food poisoning due to the meal he had prepared himself. She quickly rushes him to the hospital, relieved to find that he is okay. The CEO expresses his gratitude, but Meow brushes it off, asking for extra payment instead. As things settle, Meow realizes she left Gina with the neighbor and calls Jirapat to bring him to the hospital. Jirapat complies, but when they return, Meow finds the CEO's ex-girlfriend at the hospital, mocking her for staying with the CEO and even touching him. This only angers Meow further, and she prepares to leave. After their earlier tensions, the CEO playfully asks Meow to take care of him, but still offering to pay her for her efforts. Meow agrees to tend to him, and there's a shift in their relationship where Meow begins to feel more responsibility for their household. The next morning, Meow is delighted when the CEO surprises her with a Christmas setup, including a gift of lipstick, which she tries on, causing some playful tension between the two. The CEO jokingly tests the lipstick's durability. They share a passionate embrace, but then the mood shifts as Meow awkwardly tries to practice kissing in front of a mirror. The CEO, in an attempt to woo her further, gives her his credit card, knowing she loves shopping. Meow, happy, spends the day shopping. returning home to find Jirapat waiting for her. Jirapat, sensing that Miao might be developing real feelings for the CEO, warns her not to forget her place and that she is just a temporary part of the CEO's life. Miao, however, admits to herself and a friend that she has fallen for the CEO and is truly happy with their family. Her friend suggests she turn the situation into a real relationship by playing the part, and Miao considers this idea. That night, Miao tries to act on this advice, almost ridiculous way, attempting to seduce the CEO by scraping coconut at midnight, believing it will make her appear more attractive. When the CEO catches her in the act, he is amused, but Miao continues trying to seduce him, but her plans backfire. The next morning, Jirapat proposes that if Miao agrees to be with him, he would marry her immediately. But Miao rejects Jirapat, affirming that they are just friends and will always remain so. She warns Jirapat to stop making such declarations, threatening to reveal the truth about Gina's parentage. Miao confides in Gina, suggesting that if he could provide the wealth she needs, she would leave the CEO and be with him. The CEO overhears this conversation and, devastated, believes that Miao has been with him only for money, including raising Gina. He confronts her angrily, calling her a liar and expressing his disappointment. He tells her to leave, stating he will take care of Gina himself because she is no longer worthy of being her mother. Miao, heartbroken, as she prepares to leave, she is overcome with sadness, especially when she looks at Gina's toys. The CEO, upon discovering that Miao has left, feels a deep sense of regret as he looks at the empty room. Jirapat, now at home playing with Gina, calls Miao to check on her. After speaking with the CEO, Jirapat is furious upon hearing that the CEO kicked Miao out. Enraged, Jirapat punches the CEO and storms out to find Miao. Meanwhile, Miao, feeling heartbroken and lost, goes to the beach, reminiscing about the time she spent there with the CEO during their honeymoon. Jirapat, tracking Miao down through a message, finds her and, despite Miao's reluctance, pulls her into the ocean to help her release some of her emotions and find joy again. However, Miao's thoughts remain with Gina, feeling deeply concerned about the child's well-being. Back at the CEO's place, he and Gina are having fun together, with the CEO trying to teach Gina how to count, but he falls asleep, leaving Gina to play alone. When the CEO wakes up in the morning and realizes Gina is missing, he begins to panic. After searching the house, he finds Gina hiding in the bathtub, where she had gone to look for water. He scolds her for drinking unsafe water, then tries to feed her, but she refuses. The CEO, now overwhelmed, takes Gina to the office with him to ensure she stays occupied while he attends a meeting. Back at home, the CEO reflects on the happy times when they were a family, now replaced by loneliness. He attempts to call Miao, unsure of how to begin. Miao, meanwhile, is looking at a photo of Gina and is overcome with longing for the child. She accidentally calls the CEO, and upon realizing her mistake, she quickly hangs up. The CEO, seeing that Miao called, becomes excited and hopeful, but when he calls her back, she once again cuts the conversation short. Miao finally answers the CEO's call after initially hanging up, explaining that she mistakenly dialed and was only worried about Gina. The CEO reassures her that Gina is fine, but Miao, still hurt by his previous harsh treatment, says she's not returning. She offers to refund the money if he thinks she's that bad. The CEO apologizes sincerely, and Miao, though still reluctant, accepts his apology. When he returns to the apartment, he's greeted not by the Miao, but by Jirapat, who has brought Gina back. Jirapat confesses his feelings for Miao and his desire to take care of her and Gina. The CEO, unwilling to let go, agrees to a fair competition with Jirapat to win Miao's heart. Miao, uncertain about her decision, reflects on whether returning too easily is the right choice, but her love for Gina compels her to go back. When she knocks on the door, both men rush to open it, leading to a light-hearted and somewhat chaotic moment. Inside, she's surprised by the romantic gestures, including roses from the CEO and a large bouquet from Jirapat. Miao, clearly moved, admires Jirapat's thoughtful gift, feeling that he understands her best. Jirapat takes this opportunity to confess his love, saying that although she's not Gina's biological mother, she's raised her with love, and he wants to build a happy family with her. Meow, feeling overwhelmed, considers his proposal. But just as Jirapat leaves, she is confronted by Kodnapa, who overheard the conversation. Kodnapa reveals that if Meow doesn't leave the CEO, his father will withdraw his investment, causing the CEO's company to collapse. Meow feels trapped and returns home. She looks at the CEO burdened with the weight of the situation and says that they will eventually divorce and that the CEO will have a new wife and children. The CEO is left speechless. Meow decides to leave the CEO to help save his company, even though it pains her deeply to leave Gina. The next day, Meow is further devastated when Gina's biological mother appears, wanting to take Gina with her to the United States. Though heartbroken, Meow decides to let Gina go with her biological mother, hoping that Gina will grow up with the love and care of her real mother. Leads to a tearful farewell. Jirapat, still concerned about Gina's well-being, decides to take her to America, promising that if she doesn't do well there, he will bring her back. Meow initially plans to leave with Jirapat, and the CEO believes she has chosen to be with him. He wishes them well, though she does not leave with Jirapat. Instead, Meow stays behind. She feels empty after Gina leaves, crying to her friend that she will never see her again and is no longer her mother. To cope with her grief, she returns to a bar where she once worked, using her hard labor to ease the pain. The CEO, having learned from Jirapat where Meow is, shows up at the bar. She thinks she is seeing a hallucination, but her friend convinces her that it's real. She confesses her love for him, explaining that she left because she thought he would be with Kodnipa and that she wasn't good enough for him. The CEO, moved by her words, kisses her. The next morning, Meow wakes up, thinking it was all just a dream, only to realize it's true when she sees the CEO next to her. He asks her to return home with him, bringing Gina along since she has been crying and asking for her. Meow, despite feeling unworthy, expresses her gratitude to Gina's biological mother for letting her be a mother to Gina. Meow rushes to find Jirapat and Gina, who are waiting for her at the beach. She finally reunites with Gina, holding her in an emotional embrace. The CEO, not wanting to miss this moment, sets up a romantic proposal on the beach, complete with a sand castle he built and a ring. The CEO declares that while sand may be of little value, Meow is his most precious treasure. The end. Thanks for watching. Please drop a heart if you love the story.